Another thing I love to encourage on a daily basis is eating sprouts, if you don't already. We sprout on the road everywhere we go in nut milk bags. So as I said, we don't live anywhere, so we sprout in these because it's safer than sprouting in glass, because we'd break it all probably otherwise. So we just soak the sprouts, whatever they are, we've got red lentils here, in water overnight, turn them out into the nut milk bag, and just make sure that they always stay wet. You just don't want them to dry out, and then they grow, and you get all these little people. They're alive in here, and you eat them, which is kind of sadistic. Nut milk bag. Or a juice straining bag, or a sprouting bag, multi-purpose, and you can just hang them up in the back of a car, or a shower cubicle in a hotel room, or wherever you are. And you know, it's so easy to have fresh, live greens year-round for pennies on the dollar, no matter where you are. People always ask us these questions like, how can I be raw in the winter? And how can I be raw? It's so expensive. And all these kind of things. Sprout! Sprout! Right there in your kitchen. It costs like pennies on the dollar. And you have this abundance all year round. Doesn't matter what the weather's like outside. You don't even need to get your hands dirty. There's no soil involved. So that's something that I really like to re-encourage people to do, because, you know, if this was a raw food talk like 40 or 50 years ago, there's no doubt we'd be talking about sprouts, right? But these days there's so many new things out there, and people can kind of get confused, I think, because they're thinking about raw chocolate and stuff like that. Yeah?
Well, one of the people I'd like to invite to speak here is the Sprout Man.
Nice.
Yes, and he's been doing it for about 40 years. He's great. He lives in New York State. So.
Yeah, we talked to him at the Veggie Festival in Boston, and he said he'd be interested in coming up here. So.
Oh yeah, go and see him.
So keep that in mind.
That nut milk bag makes great nut milk too, and also juice. So maybe you want to tell how you could use some of the versatility of that bag?
Yeah, totally. Make nut milk bag, make nut milk bag. Make nut milk using a nut milk bag. Blend together soaked almonds and water or whatever, and then just strain it through here. And then you end up with a pulp in here, and you've got nut milk. We mainly use these as well for straining our juice. No matter which juicer we've used, we use one of these guys to strain the juice so that we get all the fibre out completely. We don't want any fibre in there, so that it's totally absorbable by the body. So yeah, these things are multi-purpose. You can also carry things in them. Maybe you could wear them or something, I don't know. I'm sure there's lots of uses.
Yeah, about one cup of nuts to 3 cups of water make a really good nut milk. Any of the nuts or seeds, sprouted seeds. Yep. You have to soak them and sprout them. So.
Or you can just use nut butters or seed butters if you can't be bothered. Just blend that up with water, and that works as well. Alright, so moving on. I would like to touch into the social issues around raw food a little bit, because it seems to me that's one of the major stumbling blocks for most people. Does that sound familiar? Anyone? Social issues? Alright, so the main thing I like to share about this is for us to be the change when we're living this kind of lifestyle. To enjoy what we're doing for ourselves, and to not try and push it onto anyone else around us. Because absolutely, almost invariably, that seems to turn people in the opposite direction. You know, people do not want to be lectured to by anyone about what to eat. You know, there's a saying that man would rather change his religion than his way of eating. So hold your energy in, enjoy what you're doing for yourself, and if and when people come to you with questions, answer the question they ask you, and don't say anything else. Seems to be what works best in my experience. So if they come and ask you about chia seed, tell them about chia seed, but don't also tell them about Incan berries, goji berries, maca, spirulina, chlorella, why they shouldn't be eating that hamburger, yada, yada, yada. It's too much information for most people. It's totally overwhelming. It's totally outside their reality. They don't understand what you're talking about, and they get freaked out. So hold your energy in, answer whatever they ask you, but don't say anything more. That seems to be what works best. And reach out and connect with the people who do understand what you're talking about, like this room full of people right here. You guys have potlucks around here, right? Mm-hmm. Cool, so if there's anyone who doesn't know about potlucks around here who would like to, there you go.
You're on our email list now, so.
Cool. You'll be hearing about them.
And Michelle at the Turquoise Barn, she offers classes. She has personal classes and group classes. So we got good teachers in the area.
And Johanna too.
And Johanna also.
Yeah.
When I went raw, as I said, I was living in Iceland. And I was in a village of 100 people in the countryside. It doesn't get more kind of bizarre than that to be starting on a raw food journey, I don't think. So if I'm still here 7.5 years later, then I think you can truly do this anywhere. And one of the things that really kept me going in the beginning was raw food potlucks. We had potlucks once a month in Reykjavik, in the capital, and I would go in there like it was my lifeline. You know, I was so excited to see people who had recipes to share and inspiration, and they weren't asking me where I got my protein from. You know, it was like, it was such a relief and so much fun, and it really kept me on my path. So do connect with other people, especially online as well. We have fantastic online resources these days. One of my favorite websites to connect with other people online is, it's kind of a cheeky name, but it's a great website. It's called giveittomeraw.com. Is anyone a member? All right, a few do. So there's actually over 8,000 people on that website now, all around the world. And I love it because you can put into the search box anywhere. Like, let's say you're going on a trip to Germany or something, and you're like, is there anyone there? Does anybody in Germany eat raw food? Put it in there and it will pop everyone up for you, and you can connect with people. Big raw tribe all around the world now. We are extremely blessed, the point that we've come to. So, you know, make use of it, connect with people. One of the things that inspires me the most about this movement is to see how it keeps growing. You know, it's like somebody shares their story, people pick up on that, and they make transformations, they share it with other people, and it's like a ripple that just keeps on going. We're really, really blessed. All right, the last thing that I like to share about social stuff is about being prepared when you go out. Don't try and just kind of go out the door in the morning and wing it as a 100% raw foodist. You're probably not going to get that far, right? Depending on where you live. You know, you have this great resource here, but we don't yet have a raw food restaurant on like every single street corner and food hanging from the trees everywhere you go. So bring stuff with you that you feel really good about, especially at family holiday gatherings. The kind of words that strike fear into the heart of raw foodists. Like Thanksgiving, what am I going to do for Thanksgiving? Bring stuff along that you feel good about. You know, everyone else there is like all excited about the food, whatever it is. Like, I don't know why they're excited about turkey carcasses, but for some reason they are. So, you know, bring stuff along that you're excited about. Maybe that means that you bring along a big raw pumpkin pie or something. And, you know, you've got stuff to share with people. Put the Irish moss in there and you're renegading the minerals into them. I don't encourage going along to events like that with just, you know, like a bit of celery and some hummus or something. You're probably just going to be slouched in the corner thinking like, these people are all totally crazy. So do your best to step into the energy of the situation and enjoy what's going on, just like everybody else is. And I feel like enjoying this journey is one of the biggest parts of the picture. You know, you often see people who are eating 100% raw and they've kind of turned into like the raw Nazi, you know, or like the raw evangelist or something. It can get like this really intense energy about it. So, you know, take a step back, enjoy what you're doing, and let other people enjoy whatever they're doing. It seems to be what works best. All right, the last area that I'd like